evening we'll be discussing and clarifying the confusion on the different procedures on surgical and non-surgical hair restoration. My name is Nellie Greer, and with me today is my husband, David Greer. Dave, a couple of weeks ago you did a program explaining all the different styles, the different methods of hair restoration. You included women and in the program, and I just wanted you to elaborate a little bit as to, first of all, as to what the surgical procedures are.
Well, surgical procedures, there's hair grafting, there's hair transplants, and also scalp reduction. And in scalp reduction is what they do is the person is balding around the top of the head. It's usually males. And what they do is they actually surgically cut into the scalp and tighten it up. It's kind of like a little facelift for the scalp. And what they do is bring it together so it fills in the balding areas more in here, and then gives you more coverage through the top of the head.
So it makes it just a bit smaller.
Smaller, yes.
And what about hair grafting?
Well, hair grafting is where they take a roll of hair and then transplant it on top. And the problem is with transplants also is that you're robbing Peter here to pay Paul. And as you go through your male pattern baldness, all of a sudden you have a problem back in here where the hair gets very, very thin and light back in here because this hair in here is starting to recede. So we kind of call that the Clarabelle effect. And for a lot of people who don't know what the Clarabelle, he was a clown and he just had a tuft of hair up here, and then he was bald all the way around here and just had a fringe around the side. Mm-hmm. And the problem is that when they do transplants, and it's not with all people, but it does happen, and we do see a fair amount of people that come in that have transplants that all of a sudden are having problems, and they're not too happy about what has happened to them, and it wasn't really explained to them fully, the procedures. The procedures were fine, explained to them fine, but the aftermath is what the problem is. So that's...
Now, Dave, is the hair grafting kind of like taking a whole section of the hair and transferring it over to like maybe the part area to make more of a comb-over effect?
Comb-over effect, yeah.
But is it not true that by doing that, the hair direction is going down? So when you start redirecting that and putting it on top, trying to do a comb-over or maybe a comb back, does it not work because of the hair direction?
The problem is that hair follicles come out of the scalp at a certain angle. Mm-hmm. And people don't realize it, but we have quite a few different types of hair on our body. Mm-hmm. And when you take a look at your eyebrows, your eyelashes, your beards, for men, your chest hair, even back hair, and into the lower extremities and onto the legs and even onto the arms. The arm hair is different than the hair that's on your hands. I mean, so there's a lot of different types of hair. And when you start taking hair from the back here, which is good healthy hair back in here, hair is actually a little bit different than the hair that's on top of the scalp. And you start having the effect of doing these comb-overs and that, and we kind of call it the Donald Trump look. Oh. And it's not as bad as all of that, but it's not a really conducive type of situation that you really want to go ahead and do. But it's understandable is that your person wants to look good. When you look good, you feel good, and that's the premises of doing all of this here. Mm-hmm. And it's like all of the plastic surgery that goes on today, is mm-hmm. that people, want to look their best.
Absolutely. Now, the difference now, we've covered hair grafting. Now, what about transplants?
Transplants is where they take a few hairs. It used to be they used to take plugs about the size of a pencil eraser on a pencil. But these things were so idiotic you could see them a mile away. Now they're taking smaller ones and doing them individually. There again, that works for a while. You know, it might work for 4, 5, 6 years. But after a while, you still are going through a balding process. You have to understand is that you have male pattern baldness, and just because you're taking hair from the back of the head and transplanting it on top doesn't mean that you're going to stop your male pattern baldness. And then we get back into the Clarabelle effect. Some people don't have that. Some people just, you know, when they do a transplant and they do the front, you know, it's fine, you know, but those people are very far and few in between.
Now there are some individuals that can get the two procedures done back to back, which means that they have the first procedure and then they go back and they have a little bit of the transplantation done, so it fills in the gaps. You know, when they do the transplants, they sort of do individual hair follicles.
Yeah, well, what they do first is they'll take and do a scalp reduction, and what they do is they actually take a slice, kind of a